Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. We got a preview, Max. We haven't done one of these in a very, very long
In a
time.
year.
Probably more, yeah, probably a little less than a year. Um, Look, me and Max are both under the weather. So bear with us. You guys heard it on our recap show a couple days ago. So if you guys hear us cough, sneeze, anything like that, just know,
Die,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Power through. Fight through
Yeah.
adversity.
Yeah, fight through adversity like we do. All right. We love you guys enough to do a preview show for you guys while under the weather. All right. So, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got 4 games this week, divisional round. What game do you want to start off with first, Max?
Why don't we start off with the game that you think will be the most entertaining?
I think that one's simple. Let's go to Bills and Ravens. All
I'm
right.
glad we agree. That is definitely, I think we should do the games in order of interest. And I think that is a great place to start. Game of the year, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Game of the year. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. As sucky as it sounds, this game is going to have nothing to do with the MVP argument because they already voted on it. I think Lamar Jackson is going to win it. Do I think he should win it? I don't know, man. It's close. To me, like, the MVP is going to come down to this game, me personally. I know it's a regular season award. I don't give a damn. This game comes down to it. They're both talented ass motherfuckers, bro. Josh Allen, you can argue, is working with a lesser cast on offense, most definitely. But what do you think, Max? About the MVP, the game, whatever.
Well, we talked about it briefly off the air, but I would just think Josh Allen is the MVP to me. To me, it doesn't come down to the stats because I think you're splitting the hairs. Yes, Lamar has better stats, but that doesn't mean he was more valuable to his team. He has an all-pro running back. He's got a lot of talent around him, and I think Josh Allen is the first player to not have an all-pro teammate as a quarterback. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I read that today, and it just again seals my case that Josh Allen is the most important player on his team. Buffalo Bills. I would think they'd struggle to get into the playoffs if he wasn't there. That's how highly I think of him, and I think this is a great game. Obviously, you have 2 of the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, maybe 4. But it comes down to, can Baltimore slow down Josh Allen? And then on the other side of the ball, I think Buffalo's got to turn in some type of game. Like, they have to play their A-plus game to have a chance to beat Baltimore, in my mind, on defense.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know how to say it well. Is it just I think Buffalo's got a really thin margin of victory.
Well, the game's gonna be super cold. It's gonna be like at least like 20 degrees or probably lower. To me, it's
Do you
gonna
think that
be
favors the team? Do you think that
yeah, that definitely favors the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion. I
I
think
would agree with
this
you.
has to
Yeah.
be honestly, I don't think it's a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson type of game. Like for them to be throwing it like 45 times, I don't think this game is suited to be that. To me, it's gonna come down to whoever runs the ball the best. And that means James Cook. James Cook sometimes has these random games where he'll score like 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, and he'll have a really good run on the ground day, that needs to happen on what is it, Saturday or Sunday? When is this game?
This is Sunday night.
Sunday night. This needs to happen on Sunday night for James Cook. And if they don't get the run game started, Max, they're not going to win this game. I'm sorry.
Well, if you're going to tell me this game comes down to everyone but the 2 quarterbacks, right? That to me signifies Baltimore's got a really good hold on this game. Because first of all, when I was talking about margin of error, I think there's just some types of plays during the game. Like we talked about with Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs, like their margin of error completely like went razor thin because hey, there's a couple like in that Buffalo game a few years ago. You throw the ball to Tyreek Hill over the middle. What's he do on? He makes 5 people miss, outruns the defense, right? Do you really think you're going to give the ball to James Cook and he's going to just bust one for 80? And I love James Cook. He can do that against the crappy teams in the NFL, not the elite. And that's what scares me about Derrick Henry is Lamar going to give him the ball And we're going to kind of saw what we saw in week 4 when these teams played each other, or week 5, whenever it was. It was Derrick Henry show. And then Josh Allen gets slowed down because everyone just focuses on him and say, hey, someone else beat us.
Yeah.
So if you say someone else beat us on Buffalo, who's that person who's going to beat you? And I don't know if they have that person.
Yeah, it's really just James Cook. On the other side with Baltimore, it's really pick your poison. Curb Herbstreit, or is it Curb that does
Yeah,
the
Kirk
prime?
Herbstreit, yeah, the college guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
kept
can't
on
stand him.
saying during that broadcast against with the Ravens and the Steelers that the Steelers' game plan was not to let Derrick Henry get going in the run game. It was by all means, and the Ravens kept on running the read option, and they kept on going all in on Derrick Henry. It was just like, Lamar, you can run around. And that's fucking dangerous, bro. Like, it's basically pick your
Absolutely.
poison. It's pick
Absolutely.
to me, like, I'm making Lamar Jackson a pocket passer. If you're gonna beat me, he's gonna have to fucking dice us up inside the pocket. That's the only real way to beat them. I feel like if you get the
But
run game going,
if you're gonna go with that game plan, you need to have some type of athlete who can keep a hold on him as a spy, or have some type of guys on your team that can, sideline to sideline. We talked about this with Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, we got to just keep him in there. We can't let him get out, right? And if you think back to that Super Bowl where the Bucks kicked their ass, who were the 2 linebackers? Levante and Devin White,
right?
Like rangy, athletic MFers. Buffalo don't have that.
They
And
do.
I love Matt Milano. I love Bernard, but they ain't those guys.
I like Milano as a spy. I think times where, like, in those big, like, Kansas City Chiefs games, he can spy on Patrick Mahomes pretty good.
But Lamar's a different beast than Patrick Mahomes.
I know. It is a different beast, but I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Milano gets the job done. He's a talented player.
He is. I like him. I feel like we're gonna have to trick ourselves into believing Buffalo can win. Yeah. Like, you kind of have to have an irrational, because rationally, what does your brain tell you? If you're gonna use all your logic, who would you pick to win?
It's Ravens. Baltimore. It's Ravens. Yeah.
Same thing with me. And I don't want that to be true. And I like both teams. I wish this wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I wish one of these teams could take a crack at the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I want the Bills, but my head's telling me Baltimore.
So my next question, I'm gonna go with Baltimore as well. That's my pick. Yeah. So we're both riding with Baltimore.
Yeah.
My next question is this. Who on both sides pick one guy that's gonna earn the most legacy points for this? Like, who gains the most out of winning this game?
Well, I just don't think that's a great question, because on Buffalo, who else could it be besides Josh Allen?
Maybe McDermott. McDermott goes on a.
I guess I think a better question would be, who are the guys who could swing the game? To me, like, who's the guy who could swing it? To me, that's got to be like Keon Coleman, if not James Cook. It's one of those 2 guys, right, for Buffalo. Like, you have to have some dynamic play, or maybe Shakir. Maybe Shakir more than Coleman. That to me would be the definitely difference maker in the game.
Definitely on offense. I think on defense, it's one of the defensive ends, honestly.
Yeah, I'm glad we need the same. Like, Greg Rousseau or Vaughn has to get there. They have to get there, and they have to be disruptive. Even Ed Oliver. I think Buffalo's D-line has to win this game for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that of course is discounting, Baltimore self-harms himself, fumble here, tip ball, shit like that. But Baltimore won't have Zay Flowers more than likely one. That's hurts. They just picked up Deontay Johnson again.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's just the floating temp of the NFL. He just goes to whatever team he's a wide receiver. But other than that, Buffalo side, I think the D-line has to be the X factor. Shakir. On Baltimore, Derrick Henry just, like, staring at me like, hey, what if he just runs through their whole fucking team?
Well, we don't know if Zay Flowers is playing. I think that's a big deal. He's 1,000 yards.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to play. They said it's very unlikely.
Yeah, so that's going to be tough. To me, it's Mark Andrews. He's a big X factor, like a guy.
What about likely?
Likely too, yeah. Basically, the 2 tight ends.
Tight ends,
yeah,
tight ends.
Because I feel like that's when Baltimore is at their best. When the tight ends are getting in the mix, like, it's usually a blowout when those 2 guys get going. And my next question will be, hopefully this one works a little bit better. I'll give you my answer right after.
Okay.
Who has the most legacy to lose this game? And it comes down to the quarterbacks to me. And I think Lamar has a little bit more on the line.
Yeah. I think the consensus is Baltimore's a better team,
Mhm.
and I'm more afraid of Baltimore than I am Buffalo. And I think if Lamar loses, he's got more to harm. But I also think there's very little because I think both guys have reached that play like that peak of like this is an all-time great quarterback.
Yeah. To me,
And so you just lose.
to me, I'm looking at it from not how you are gonna look at it, because I know like you're a person that's not gonna hold a playoff loss so like crucial
But
to the
yeah,
guy.
you're right though about Lamar because he had the whole thing in the beginning part of his career where he can't win the big game.
Mhm.
Like
I
even though
think
he's kind of quashed it in the last couple of years, they've won playoff games both years.
I think
But
Josh Allen would get some flack for it, of course, like after a playoff loss. But I think if Lamar loses from the NFL circles, people are going to be on him. Like, is this guy even great? Oh, he can't win in the playoffs. Even though I don't think that way. I don't. I really don't. I just think if they lose this game, like a lot of things are gonna have to go into place on Buffalo side, and it's like, hey, shit happens. It's the NFL playoffs. You can't win them all, but it's gonna be rough for Lamar for a couple weeks. I feel like at least a week and a half of just criticism of he can't get the job done. Like you have Derrick Henry this year, an all time great season. It
yeah,
feels like
hmm
everything's falling into place. Pittsburgh fell to shit, and then if Buffalo beats Kansas City, that's even more of a fucking gut punch because it's like, man, like we could have beat Kansas City.
yeah.
So
Do you believe the winner of this game will go to the represent the AFC?
correct, yes. I think the winner of this beats Kansas City. That's the way I'm
I
looking
do
at it.
too. I'm not saying Kansas City has no chance because they're Kansas City,
Right.
but I would tend to lean towards this unless it's one of those games where Baltimore loses 5 key players just to get out of there with a win.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Of
saying?
course. Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on Buffalo and Baltimore?
No, I think we're good.
Where do you want to move to next, Max?
Let's go to the NFC. Let's go to Philadelphia versus the Rams in Philly. It's going to snow. They think. I think that plays into the Eagles' hands if it's a snowy outside game. But truthfully, I'm afraid. I'm afraid as an Eagles fan because that Rams performance was out of this world. I could not believe the level that they kicked the Vikings' ass, especially the D line. I will say the Eagles' offensive line is a much different animal than the Vikings, but I like our chances. I think we're a bad matchup for them because we can really pound the ball on their defensive front. But again, if they play like that, it's going to be a hell game. It's going to be definitely a hell game.
Yeah. Look, I rewatched that Eagle game a little bit, or the Rams game, and they were
Rams
hitting
Eagles or the Rams Vikings?
no, the Rams Vikings, and
Yeah,
they went fucking off, bro. Like their
yeah.
defensive line was crazy.
They had 9
Um,
sacks.
look,
They were
I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there has been moments in the NFL and all in sports where tragedy kind of fits the sports team and kind of gives them a little bit bigger push, whether it's destiny or, you know, rigged, whatever you want to fucking call it. The Rams have that feeling to them. They just do. Of everything that's going on with the wildfires in LA, they come out, they travel fans in the bus, like they're playing with so much fucking energy. It just seems like a team of destiny. And I feel like if they win this game against Philly,
yeah.
they're gonna win a
Book
Super
them.
Bowl. I
Yeah,
got them. I got them at least
yeah.
going to the Super Bowl. That's how I feel about the
It'll
Rams.
be very interesting to see how they perform if they can if it'd be different if they kicked Philly's ass and say they just escaped. The Eagles messed up the game for themselves.
Right.
But I think the Eagles are X's and O's just kind of coincide. Now Sean McVay is a monster.
Yeah.
Like he had Brian Flores scheme down to a hash. They had all the right answers. But just from a player standpoint, I think we match up well. And if you watch that game we played Sunday night, it was bad for them.
Yeah.
It
Barkley
was very
went
bad.
for like what, 230 or something?
250, something like that.
Yeah.
Eagles D line kind of kicked ass, and they're going to have, I think, a troublesome time doing what they did to Minnesota to us. In my opinion, I'm picking Philadelphia to win. Obviously, I'm a Philly fan, but even my brain, putting away the biasness, I think we are a bad matchup for them. Now, there's some definitely things that scare me about them. Obviously, the receiving core, Stafford and McVay, but I'm not worried about Kyron Williams at all. I think we can keep a hold on him, and I think if we can slow down the run game, make them one-dimensional, I like our chances.
I think it's going to be a much closer game. I wouldn't take much into that Sunday night game that played out. Usually the games don't really go the way that they went in the regular season. I wouldn't bank on
agree.
that. And as far as the Saquon Barkley aspect, a lot of those yards came in the second half. It was a game for the first half. In the second half, Saquon just broke the fuck out, bro. I think they're going to contain Saquon, obviously. And I think the best way to beat the Eagles, you have to make Jalen Hurts make decisions in the pass game.
Yeah.
Like, make him hold on to the ball. And he does. That's the one way where he fucks up. You know it as an Eagle fan.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's some games where he's just back there. You think he's an athletic.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, you think he's an athletic guy that can make guys miss, really. But in reality, it's not. Like, he kind of sitting duck back there.
It's weird, right? It's like you see it some plays, and sometimes you're like, how are you getting chased down by that linebacker right now? Yeah. You're just getting up. Yeah.
He's a real
weird. It's definitely scary.
Open field kind of guy, I feel like, with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. It'll be, if the Eagles take care of the ball, they'll have a good chance to win, because they have been, Jalen Hurts started off kind of loosey-goosey. Hey, Mabel, what's up? Sorry, cat. I like our chances, Juan. I do think we're a bad matchup. And I think we're going to have to put their defense in a bind, because I don't think they really respected Minnesota's run game. I really don't think they did. Yeah. And they kind of got away from it early, Minnesota. The one thing I've liked about Saquon Barkley, we've been pounding that rock. Even when it don't work in the first half, we're like, hey, we're going to keep going to our dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to go with the Rams, Max. That's my pick.
And you're a hater. You're just a hater.
I'm going to go with the Rams. The one thing that scares me about this game is the Rams haven't been all that good on offense. The last, I would say 4 weeks now. Their offense really hasn't been all that good. They scored 2 touchdowns in the game on Monday. Cooper Kupp is not really getting involved all that much. It's the Puka Nacua show.
Who's banged up.
Higbee's banged up.
Yeah.
The fact that you say that you're not scared of Kyron Williams, I think it's I don't look at.
He loves to put that bitch on the ground. He does. He loves.
That's your boy, though, man. Your boy's gonna make you pay.
I love him.
Your boy's gonna make you eat them words, bro.
I hope not. I love you, Kyron. Don't do it to me, please.
I think he's gonna do it to you, man. I'm a big fan.
All right.
Look, Max was the one that was on Kyron. I'm a big fan of Kyron Williams now. I think he's gonna be a difference maker in this game. He's a dude that can catch the ball out of the backfield. Maybe manipulate those linebackers, Zach Bond.
Hey, no one Kobe Dean. He's hurt. He's out for the
Kobe Dean,
season,
correct.
So that's scary. Yeah.
Maybe Zach Bond comes back down the earth. He's been an all-pro this year.
Never. Never.
But, look, I got the Rams. Matthew Stafford, all-time great quarterback. You're looking at the quarterbacks head-to-head. I'm going with Matthew Stafford. That's who I want with the game on the
Definitely
line.
Have the edge in that department.
And their defense, man, look, everyone's been talking about their defensive line, which has been fantastic with Verse and all that. Their defensive backfield is pretty damn good, bro. Their safeties, my boy Kamar Kitchens from Miami.
Cameron Kitchens?
Kitchens, my bad. My boy from Miami, man, who I was this close. He was like my 6th safety. He almost made my list, and it was really the speed. That's why you can't really look at.
I will say one thing though about the Eagles receiving core. I feel like Addison and Jefferson got punked a little bit. You're not punking AJ Brown. Not like that. Not physically. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Quinyon and Darius Slay got some big task at hand, bro. We'll see how it happens. All right, next game. Let's go. What, Lions?
Let's stay in the NFC. Yeah, I'd like to talk about that one.
All right. So the Lions and the Commanders. Commanders coming off that win. Vikings coming off a bye. Lions coming off a bye. Obviously, I think me and Max are going to get the pick out of the way. We both think that the Lions are going to win this game, correct?
Correct. I would think they're a very they're the most favorite team of the weekend, I think.
Yeah. And on the Commander side, let's play devil's advocate. How does it
They have
look?
nothing to lose.
Yeah,
They
but
have nothing to lose.
how does it look if they got to win? Like if they win this game, how is it going to look?
It's Jaden Daniels busting contain. It's him making some throws downfield, taking advantage of the banged up Detroit Lions. And I think the trenches win for Detroit and Dan Quinn. I think they're going to have to slow down the run game, and you're going to have to pass the ball for big chunks and take care of it. And you're going to have to force Detroit to some self-harm, which easier said than done. And I don't know if they have the dogs to do it up front to slow down the run game, especially if they don't have Deron Payne, who is a monster, or Jonathan. Which one of them hurt their finger? Was it Deron or Jonathan?
I want to say it
was Deron.
Deron Payne. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they don't have him, it's going to be tough. But that they have to play their A+ game. Detroit can win this game playing just an okay game. They cannot. They have to play out of their minds because Detroit is so freaking good on offense, and they do so many good things on defense, even missing the guys they do.
Yeah.
But hey, there's pressure on Detroit. There's 100% pressure to win this game. Commanders? No, they don't care. They've not even picked to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Commanders not doing shit on offense. Like I think they're gonna score points. And I think they're gonna try to push the ball downfield. And Jaden Daniels is gonna make some plays. To me, it's coming down to stopping Detroit. And no one this season has stopped Detroit. No one. Even in their losses, they're scoring 30 points at least. And they get David Montgomery back, which is another big element to their run game. And it's gonna be really tough, bro. To me, you gotta pray.
Yeah, I don't.
You gotta pray that Jared Goff throws like 5 picks. That's the only way they're winning. It has to be self-harm on the Lions side on offense.
Yeah, no, the Lions have to play a bad game to lose. I don't think both teams can play their A+ and Washington will win. Yeah. I'm going the Lions easy. I really don't know what else to say. I think Detroit is just a different class of team right now.
Let's say the Commanders do win, right? Let's put it out there. How much legacy points does this give fucking Jaden Daniels?
Oh my God, he's already the best. He's the best quarterback of the draft, unless Caleb wins like 6 Super Bowls.
Okay,
like he's like established as a premier top 6 quarterback, game changer, franchise changer.
I agree with that, but we've seen what CJ Stroud did to us this year. Do you think we should pump the brakes even if he wins this game?
I mean, let's not overreact, right? But I mean, CJ Stroud still, if you ask 32 GMs, they'd be like, "Well, we'll take him." Yeah, right. As bad a year as he had towards the end, are you still thinking, "Oh, it's just a fluke. He's not a talented quarterback"? No, you're not. You're thinking CJ Stroud. You still think in your heart, and I do too. I don't know. Let me rephrase. I still think Houston has a fighting chance against the Chiefs, and they can win, even with CJ Stroud playing as bad as he did towards the last part of the year.
Well, that's a good segue. Let's talk about it. Let's go Chiefs and Houston. So you brought up CJ Stroud. I personally think that CJ Stroud is definitely not a top 6 quarterback like us naming him in the beginning of the season. And whether that's offense, whether that's sophomore slump, whatever, the offensive line, blah, 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 blah. Telling you right now, if he can somehow pull this off against Kansas City, it's just going to bump him up to maybe like Joe Burrow level as far as when the season goes. Because if you can make the AFC Championship, like that's big, bro. You've won, 3 playoff games if he wins this one in your second season? That's big.
Again, I think everyone's overreacted to how bad he played at the end of the year. You still think this is one of the premier guys. Like people are trying to say
he played bad. He played underwhelming. He didn't play bad.
But people are talking about like as good as Bryce Young played. They're like, oh, it's really a discussion. I'm like, no, it's still CJ Stroud.
Right.
It's still CJ Stroud by a mile. And I like Bryce Young. I do. He proved something wrong.
But how does it look in this game for Houston to win, Max, against the big bad wolf Kansas City Chiefs?
I think this game will be low scoring. And here's why. I think Houston has some good counters to what the Chiefs like to do, right?
Yeah.
They have good linebackers. They have two good edge rushers. We know the Chiefs defensive line. I'm sorry, the Chiefs offensive line is a mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not like, oh yeah, they're going to keep them up. They're going to keep them up straight. So Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson can really have an impact on this game. Derek Stingley can shut down one side of the field. We're confident, right? There's no one on the Chiefs who can really test him, right?
Yes, correct.
That gives you the flexibility to do a lot of creative things on defense and slow down Mahomes. I think the final score of this game is going to be like 17-14, 14-10. And it's going to matter if Houston can take care of the ball and can do a little bit enough on defense. On offense. If CJ Stroud can score and not harm themselves. Because CJ Stroud, if he plays like that against the Chargers, like how he played against the Chargers against the Chiefs, they're going to take advantage. We know the Chiefs love to do that. Like get a turnover, get some points, be smart. You know Mahomes isn't going to F up the game and have like a 6-pick game. We know he won't as much as you want him to.
He's not. To me, it's going to be obviously CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, like having a big game. Like they're the X factors in this one, I feel like. Because this year, as far as, before in years past, you can outscore the Chiefs. You can outscore them. They're not going to be able to hang with you. You got to beat their defense. Correct. You have to beat their defense. And I think CJ and Nico are fully capable of that. Like Joe Mixon obviously has to have a
mixing game. Yeah. This is going to be like if he can get 18 for 80, you're like, damn, that was good. That was really good. Yeah. It's going to be tough yards all afternoon or all night.
Yeah, because when things are going bad for the Chiefs, at least the last 3 years, Max, what happens? What happens? Honestly, it's a big play by their defense. Every time they make a big play, whether it's a fourth down stop, interception, forced fumble, whatever it is, or they pitch a fucking
it's Chris
shutout
Jones on 3rd and goal against Brock Purdy. Just pressure and throw it away. Now my offense can go win the game.
Yes.
So we have leeway.
Yeah. Because I don't think, like, if the Texans can score,
I think 17 points can win this game.
They can, but to secure it, I think if they score 24 points or
21.
more, 24 points or more, I think they win. Like you said, like the Chiefs winning this game, it's ugly. It's going to be an ugly game. Now, on the Chiefs side, I mean, they've had 2 weeks of rest. You look at the regular season game in this one, the Texans were really in it before the Tank Dell shit went down. And they played, fucking three games in 11 days. They were on that schedule. Yeah, so it was tough. But I don't know, man. I'm not confident in the Chiefs offense. To me, I'm scared of their defense like always, but their offense is just not all that good. And I think with Derek Stingley, like you said, shutting down one side of the field, it's just Mahomes. Mahomes fucking scares the living shit out of me because
it's just the Mahomes. If they cannot be starstruck and frightened, but this team has been tested. Like, last year they went to Baltimore, right? And just got pretty much whacked.
Yeah.
So let's not overreact. Let's not be scared. They can't play scared. And another thing, like we're talking about Washington, no one thinks they're going to win this game. Mm-hmm. No one does.
And no one really thinks Houston does.
I want to, but I don't think they. See, I can lie to myself and see the path of which they can win, but I don't think it'll happen. But to me, this game isn't just like, oh, Chiefs easy. Like, Chiefs have to take care of business. They're not a good enough team.
Yeah. I'm rolling with the Chiefs, man. It's hard for me to pick the Texans. I would take it by a small score like Max, though. Like 21-17, 17-14, whatever, in that range. I'm excited about that one, bro. Very excited. Is that all the games, Max?
That's all the games. Not a lot of games. There are only 4. Next week, there'll only be 2.
There will only be 2 next week. Only 4 games to do, so obviously a short.
So you think the NFC Championship game, just to recap, will be the Rams versus the Lions, and then the AFC will be the Chiefs versus the Ravens again.
Correct.
See, I'm going Eagles and Lions, and I'm going I think Ravens and Chiefs. I want the Bills so bad. I really wish the Bills were playing Kansas City or right. Like, you know what I mean? I would have loved to see the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC. Sorry, the Bills and Ravens in the AFC Championship game,
That
but
would
we're
be
not
a
going to
good
get
one.
it.
Yeah, that would be a good one. If you so you're an Eagle fan, who do you want to see? Assuming you guys win. Let's just say you guys win. Who do
Oh,
you
I'd
want
rather
to
see
face?
Washington. Yeah,
Even though
I'd
they
love to
beat
see
you
Washington.
guys?
Yeah, they beat us with Kenny Pickett. I'll be fine. I am confident.
Okay.
We were up 14-0 with Jalen Hurts, and then it all started going bad, and we still almost won that game.
I would say this though, Jaden Daniels is the one guy I've seen this year really tear apart that Eagles defense. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, he had a good game the second time.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. Who do you guys think is going to win the game? All right. Are we tripping? Is there an underdog that we're not seeing? Whatever you guys feel, whatever you guys want to say, go ahead and comment down below. Max, any last words?
Let's have a good championship weekend. Everyone stay safe, whether you're in a blizzard or in a wildfire. Everyone be safe. That's all I got to say.
Yes, sir. We out. Peace.
Everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold, both fleeing. Not on my team. This organic.